Right now, people are sending out hundreds of resumes and hearing absolutely nothing back. College graduates can't find jobs. Mid-career professionals are getting laid off. Workers in their 50s are terrified they're being replaced by AI. And everywhere you look, companies say they're hiring, but people still can't get in the door. So what is really going on in the job market right now? And my guest today knows this world inside and out. Andrew McCaskill is a former LinkedIn executive and career expert who's helped shape conversations around who's hiring, networking, the future of work, and how AI is changing the workplace faster than most people realize. If you've been frustrated, confused, overwhelmed, or just wondering what you might be doing wrong in your job search, this is an episode you need to hear. I'm NBC4 consumer reporter Susan Hogan, and this is Susan Makes Sense. Welcome to the show.
Susan Makes Sense on NBC4 is brought to you by Chase.
I'm so glad you're here, and I wanted to get right to our guest, Drew McCaskill, because we only have 25 minutes to talk about what I think is one of the most important episodes that I have done to date. So, Drew, right now people are so frustrated. They feel like they're doing everything right, applying to the right places, doing all the things, but they're not hearing back from companies. What's going on?
I think that we're just in one of the most competitive job markets that we've seen in a really long time. Corporations that we thought they kind of roll with the punches. They never do layoffs. Tech is doing huge layoffs. We're seeing, government agencies doing tons and tons of layoffs. The market is at a point now where there are people who are in the market who are competing for the same jobs as people who used to manage them. Right. So think about that. If you and your manager, you and your boss are in the job market and you're competing for the same new open roles, we're going to have to really rethink and reimagine how we look for work. And a lot of us who maybe have always had that good job, right? That one good job that we're 9-to-5ers and that's what we did. Many of us are going to have to reimagine our careers and think about our careers as portfolio careers. There may be sometimes where I am working as a consultant for one company and I'm doing this other thing that's a side hustle that is just a passion project that I'm working on. And there may be another opportunity that I'm doing as a joint venture with my spouse or with a family member. Okay. We may be all thinking about different streams of income in different ways. And for a lot of 9-to-5ers, they've just never thought about their careers like that.
So what do you mean with a profile? So instead of just putting on your resume what you did or what you're doing, that if you do have a side hustle or something else, that you should include this as an entire portfolio of the person?
I think you have to reimagine in your head, I'm going to have a portfolio career, right? I may have different jobs and different things that I'm good at, and then figure out how to talk about those things. Because listen, you may still want to have your LinkedIn profile and your resume that you say, these are the jobs that I've always had. These are the industries I've gone after. I'm going to go do that. But then you may say, as part of my portfolio of work that I want to do or can do, I might have a side website where I talk about the fact that I am a great writer. I may, help you do writing. I may help you create a website. I may help you do all of these other things that I can do as a side hustle.
Does that give them an advantage? So if an employer or a recruiter is looking at that and thinking, well, you know what? They may not be right for this job, but they have this, they've been doing this and this, so maybe there's something else.
It could work that way. But what I'm saying is that many of us will have to reimagine that the single one job, great job, is not the end game.
Oh.
The end game may be that I have a job that I enjoy where I'm doing this,
Okay.
but I also have this portfolio of other streams of income that I'm still excited about and I want to do. So I may not be working as much or as hard as I was in this particular role, but it also frees me and gives me the space to do these other things too, where I may have 3 opportunities where I'm where I'm using work or using my skills. What I'm thinking is that a lot of people will reimagine how they work in this new economy.
Give me an example.
Give me an example. Someone who maybe is out of work in a marketing job.
Okay.
They may say, I was a marketer at a big Fortune 50 company. Fortune 50 is not hiring right now. What do I do to pivot? Don't panic, pivot. What I would say to that person is, look at small to medium-sized companies, because they would love to have your big Fortune 50 experience at a small or a medium-sized company. It may be a company that wants to one day compete with the companies that you've worked for. Now, they may not have same perks, maybe not even the same pay, but the way I think about it is that while you're figuring it out, small to medium-sized company, but then you may say, okay, I'm gonna also, in the midst of that, to make up for that income, I might also, as much as I'm a great marketer, I might be a great writer. I might do freelance writing. I might do paid writing for someone else, right? As a part of that, I might be an editor for a newsletter. I might help people with their content, right? So that they can do these other things and make money that way.
So you were with LinkedIn for years.
Yeah.
So that gives you so much credibility, because I'm sure you've seen, what people are doing right, what people are doing wrong. Can you talk to the person who is watching this right now, and with what we're seeing today, what should they be doing?
Yeah. The first thing is that if you've been laid off, that is not a reflection on you and your skills. It is a reflection on the company and a moment in time.
But it's so hard
to
not take it personally.
It's hard to
like,
not take it
me,
personally, right? Especially when you enjoyed the work that you were doing, or it was a company that you really loved. But you have to pivot.
Okay.
And say, okay, what do I do next? If you've gotten that pink slip, there are a couple of things. One, first thing you've got to do is change your mind. Be open to the fact that you may have worked in technology as a marketer, but there might be more opportunities in marketing at in the utilities industry, right? Go where the growth is. If you're seeing that there's all of this growth in construction and utilities and the energy sector, take your skills to those sectors. They're oftentimes paying just as much money and having just as much opportunity for you to be brilliant there, right? The other thing is that we are in a relationship economy now.
What does that mean?
It means that so much of the hiring that is happening is relationship based. You're much more likely to get a job at a company if you know someone who works there. And it doesn't have to be your work bestie. It doesn't have to be a family member. As long as you have even a weak connection to someone inside of that organization is super helpful.
So how do you do that? Because, I've told my kids, you have to network, right? I mean, you always think about that. But how do you actually do that if you're just starting out, or if you've been working in a company for so many years and you're like, well, where do I go to a bar? Do I go to the golf course again? I mean, it's like, how do you actually do that? Do you DM people? What's the best practice?
I think the thing that most people do is they overthink it, right? It's not passing out business cards at events and things like that. I do think IRL, real life events, and real life events that are events for your industry or your profession, I do think that those are becoming more and more important, to actually meet people, let people see that you're a real live person, to go to those places.
That's a great idea, like these meetups for these particular industries.
Go to the meetups, and sometimes going to the conferences really matters, but really use your time at those conferences. Be serious about meeting people, and be serious about meeting people who maybe already be in, say, your LinkedIn network, right? People that you've got those first connections to on LinkedIn, that you're going to that conference. Maybe this is the opportunity for you to have an in-person conversation and say, oh, you are a real person, and reconnect. But reconnecting to previous contacts at former companies, people who you used to work with who've left, reach out to them. Even your network, if you are a college student who's getting ready to graduate, you're entering into an incredibly competitive market. Do not leave that college campus without going to the Alumni Affairs office and telling them, I want you to connect me to 4 alums who are in the industry I want to work in.
Okay, I totally agree with you. So let's talk about the resume too, because all 3 of my kids have resumes, and I've looked at them all, and I mean, they look good, but what are some of the do's and don'ts? I mean, what is it still the old traditional resumes, keep it one page, maybe two? Like what's just the bottom line that people need to kind of follow, the rule of thumb?
Rule of thumb with resume, I think
Especially now with AI,
yeah.
right?
I
Does
think
that change things too?
it does change
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
One of the biggest rules I think that you should follow is skills, skills, skills. A lot of the resume reading software is looking to what are the skills that are listed here.
Interesting.
Because a lot of times, if I'm searching for someone who's going to be a paralegal, I want to know that they've got specific training, right? That they've got specific skills, of whether that's writing and communication, business writing, et cetera. Oftentimes, those skills are put into the system along with a JD, and then
What's a JD?
A job description. Sorry,
A job description.
I'm
Okay.
I'm the recruiter. I put a list of the skills that I'm looking for into the computer. I put in a job description, and it's like, hey, search through all of these 100 as resumes that we've gotten, and give me the 20 that most match the job description and the skills that I'm listed here. So your resume, if you're thinking about, I tell people all the time, is like trying to apply to 100 jobs is a bad idea. One, what it does to your psyche is awful, right? So I say, don't just throw everything up against the wall and see what sticks. Look for 5 solid opportunities.
How do you know what those are?
I think you got to know, one, does it match up with what you can actually do?
Okay.
Right? Do your skills match up? Is it something that you feel like you can do, you want to do, that are you a good candidate for? Is it about the same role and level that you've been?
Okay.
Right? I think you've got to look at those job descriptions and with real rigor too. Would you hire you?
Oh.
Think about it. If you're reading this job description, would you hire you, right?
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good way to start
like
the
that.
process, because you look really discerning. Am I qualified?
Mm-hmm.
Am I qualified? And even sometimes where you're like, okay, this is a little ambitious, I'm still going to apply. Take the jobs that make the most sense. Like take 5 instead of 20 and say, how do I put my best foot forward for these 5? Do I know anybody who potentially works there? Once I figure out if I'm qualified, do I know anybody who works there? Does anybody in my network know somebody who works there? It's like, look, I might not have anybody who works at Amazon that I know, but let me ask Susan.
My son, who's a junior in college, applied to no lie, over 500 internships. This is a smart kid knows coding, knows vibe coding, has built an app.
Yep.
And has heard from, he's gotten a couple of, things, but then gets through the interviews and never hears back. What's happening to him, I've heard the same stories over and over from other friends who have kids who are either graduating from college or looking for internships. What's the advice you have for these kids?
Yeah. One of the things I say is very similar to what I'm saying to mid-career professionals as well, is take a look at small and mid-sized companies, right? Some of the smaller firms, companies that are vendors to some of the larger companies that people are looking for. Oftentimes, I feel like younger folks, and we do them a little bit of a disservice on this in college too, is that they're all looking for the big name companies.
He did do that. Google, Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So let's lower our expectations.
So there are 5,000 people applying for for those 4 Google internships, right? But now there's great, huge, award-winning technology companies that are much smaller companies that they may have 40 people apply all year long for those internships. And you got a better chance with 40 people applying for 4 than you have with 5,000 applying for 4.
Let's quickly talk about AI.
Yeah.
And we did a little bit about how AI is kind of sifting through skills and trying to pick out, what kids or what resumes have this. Depending on what age group you're in, it doesn't really matter, but how is that changing how you should be doing your resume, who you should be applying for?
Yeah. I don't think artificial intelligence is changing necessarily just your resume, but I do think that what artificial intelligence is doing, I think we should be using AI even in our job search. Like, let some of the algorithms tell you, am I a good fit for this job? How could I say this differently? how does my resume match up against this job description? I would even say for people, especially if you make it to the interview process, have Claude or ChatGPT give you some great interview questions. Look at this job description. What do you think are the best things that I should talk about in this interview? I think that you can absolutely use artificial intelligence to help you put your best foot forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
One final question, and then I'll get to the true or false, is I have a lot of friends who are coming to me because they knew I was interviewing you. And they were, some of them have literally been out of the job market for years because they were stay-at-home moms. And so now they're re-entering it and they're trying to reinvent themselves. What's your best advice for them?
I think it's going to be a lot easier to do something that you actually enjoy doing because it's going to be a hard reentry for most people. I would say finding a soft place to land may or may not be for everybody. There might not be an opening for that. But I would say one of the things that if you've been out of the workforce for a while, one way to ease back into it may be to do freelance work or the gig economy to get started, prove yourself to some folks. And I would say for women, no one gives women a shot the way women give women a shot. I definitely think women-owned businesses are oftentimes a great place for women to find opportunities for reentry. Yeah. It should be different, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you're right.
I do think that women-owned businesses and women managers and women CEOs do a better job of hiring women and bringing women back in if they've been out of work for a while for all of the reasons. I think if in a lot of older folks, and I say older as a 50-year-old, but older folks as boomers, older than me, are coming back into the job market too.
Yeah,
and so
they have to.
They have to. I think that's where we are in the current economy. I think for them that having people that they can talk to about their experiences trying to get back into the job market, you will not do this successfully alone. Getting back into the job market or succeeding in the job market is a team sport. Get some people to help you. And I think this is something that I hope for all folks who are job seekers is that you will build a team of people. Your network is just a group of people rooting for you to win. That's all your network is. It's a group of people rooting for you to win. And I would say the people who are going to win are going to have a diverse subset of people on that team for them. People from different generations who, if you're an older person trying to get back in the job market, who can help you get your LinkedIn set up or can help you go through that resume or can, talk to you about, rehearse you with the interview process and vice versa.
Right.
So many times younger people get all the way up into the interview process and they've been sold this bill of goods about being your whole self. And you actually have to be authentic, but no company needs 3 a.m. you in the interview or at work. We have to be realistic with our folks when we're giving them career advice that a lot of just the old school ways that we thought about working are back and they're here to stay. COVID is over, put on a suit. And when you go for that interview, I think that we've got to start talking to younger folks and say, I'm going to rehearse you for the interview so you make your mistakes with me and not in the interview process.
Love
and I'm
that.
going to coach you on it, right? I think that we're also going to have to reimagine how we're advising everyone who's in that job market because some things we have left unsaid to a lot of our younger job seekers about the fact that you're automatically disqualified if you're late for that interview.
Oh God, yeah.
Even if they go through the whole process,
Absolutely.
Susan, and they say, "Oh, you were wonderful, we'll call you," they're not calling you back
because you were late.
There's so many instances where we have not just talked to younger job seekers about the old school basics,
right?
And they're not interviewing with their peers.
Yeah.
They're interviewing with boomers and Gen Xers whose feelings about punctuality
matter.
They matter.
Right. I always said to my kids, don't ever ask about work-life balance.
Yeah.
Ever. Like if you ask about PTO, you're screwed. Like, come on. Don't ask about that.
And you know what? we would love a world to exist where none of that matters.
Right.
But it's not the world, and especially not in the competitive market we're in now.
Yeah. right, let's get to some true or false.
All right.
Okay, so this one I'm going to just say out. It's not one that I had down, but true or false? You should wear a suit to an interview, even if it's virtual.
Yes, true.
True. Okay.
I say wear a suit.
No matter what, even if.
What do you have to lose?
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
True or false? Your resume should never be longer than 1 page.
False. Depending upon where you are in your career. My resume is 2 pages. I'm an older guy, but there are definitely some roles and some things where your resume should be 2 pages. Also, there's some people who should maybe have a 1-page resume, but have an actual 4 or 5-page portfolio, especially if they can do coding and they can do some of these other things.
True or false? If you don't meet every qualification in the job posting, you should not apply.
False. Because I think that oftentimes we discount ourselves a little bit. It is a competitive job market, though. So, I do think that there's probably a lot more rigor now than there was, 2 years ago. But more often than not, you're probably more qualified than you think you are.
Okay. True or false? Having gaps in your resume is a deal breaker.
False. There are absolutely ways that you can talk about gaps in your resume if you understand that you will have to explain it.
True or false? You should always write a cover letter.
False. I don't think you should always write a cover letter.
Okay.
I do think, though, cover letters are more of an opportunity now than they've ever been because it goes into the system with all the rest of the content. And if you've got really great keywords and skills written about in your cover letter, it only adds to what the algorithm picks up about you.
True or false? You should include a photo on your resume.
I think false.
True or false? Companies care more about your skills now than degrees.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
After what you were just telling me about with AI kind of looking for those skills and trying to match up with what you're looking for, it makes a difference.
Roughly over 70% of recruiters say that they are searching primarily based on skills and skill where you can prove that you have those skills. Oftentimes there are a lot of companies now do not even have the 4-year degree requirement for jobs that they used to, because if you've got the skill, let's do it.
Final. True or false? The job market is actually worse than people realize right now.
Absolutely true.
Oof.
Absolutely true. The job market is much worse than even, I think, than the news, than we talk about it on the news. I mean, you look at the BLS numbers that come out, the Bureau of Labor Statistics that come out on unemployment, but we're seeing unemployment in ways that we've not seen it traditionally. That there are more people with college degrees who are unemployed than we've seen in almost a generation. The last time there were this many people with college degrees who were unemployed was around 2014.
I usually have a quick question from a viewer that I always do at the end of each episode, but I'm not going to do that today because I wanted to give the time to you because it's important information. And what I'd like to do is offer this to our viewers who are watching, is if they have a question for you about job hunting, about LinkedIn, about the right ways, the good, the bad, whatever they have, to put it into the comments. You are more than welcome to do that. And then I'll share them with you too. And we'd love to have you come back and answer some of those questions.
I'd love for it. Like, hey, have them send the questions. And I'll come back and sit in the chair and answer them. We'll answer it together.
I love it. Thank you so much, Drew.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And listen, as I always say, I always have my quick question, but obviously this was such an important conversation. But if you do have a question that you want me to answer on a future episode, just scan that QR code right there. And as I said to Drew too, this is such a great conversation, so important. So please, if you have a question for Drew, put it into the comments and I will make sure he gets it. We'll have him come back and answer it for you as well. And please remember to subscribe, to like, to do all the things. And you can also find me all over social media at Susan Hogan TV. And please don't forget to share this episode with someone you know who's in this situation, who's looking for a job. It can certainly help them out as well. And I'll see you next time.